Hello and welcome to Crucible of Words for more dedicated Legacy action. Today we're playing another new card, Ugin, Eye of the Storms. This 7 mana Planeswalker does a lot. It exiles a permanent when it comes into play. Whenever you cast a colourless spell, you exile a permanent. You can draw cards with it, gain life, gain mana, and its minus ability is cast an Emrakul, Ulamog, Karn, Disruptor Flute, One Ring, all at the same time. So basically win the game. Pretty powerful, and we're going to be trying to make that hit play by using the Cloudpost shell. So Cloudpost took a bit of a hit in losing Sowing Mycospawn, but I don't think anyone really thinks that Sowing Mycospawn should have been a thing that we got to continue having, because that card was a bit gross. But there was a Cloudpost deck that's already 5-0'd a league, so clearly Cloudpost is still a thing. Primeval Titan gets us 2 lands, kind of does a little makeshift impression of Sowing Mycospawn, so that's kind of what's in this slot. I wanted to play a sort of green Cloudpost because I've been impressed with the green Cloudpost decks, and I think they are just better than the colourless, but I do think that Ugin is a good enough payoff to play a colourless deck, and we will try that at some point soon. So we've got a bunch of lands that make a lot of mana. So we have Planar Nexus and Urza's Tower. We've seen this combo before. So this is all the Urza lands. It makes a tower then tap for 3. So on turn 2 you can have 4 mana. 4 mana gets you Karn or the One Ring. And then the rest can hopefully be history. We've then got things like Cloudpost with Glimmerpost to go with it, so we can just generate a little bit of extra mana off of these. These also get triggered by the Planar Nexus as well. We've got some tech lands like the Karakas, the Tabernacle, the Bojuka Bog, the Eye of Ugin, the Echoing Deeps if we need a second Bojuka Bog. We've got Cavern of Souls as well, which we can put on Giant to get the Primeval Titan out. So that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish here, just ramping up, playing the big top end. Kozilek's Command is another little payoff we have. We can dump a load of mana into this, get a bunch of chump blocking tokens that then turn into mana. We can also dig for the card we need to then just win the game. This card is very good when you've got a bunch of mana. Karn, we obviously have a wish board, so let's go and have a look at it. We've got a Cursed Totem for these Nadu decks. We've got ourselves a Mycospawn Lattice to lock people out that way. We've got the One Ring, so we've got 3 in the main and 1 in the board, so we've kind of got like 7 copies of the One Ring. We've got the Ensnaring Bridge, the Tormod Script, which we can just go and fetch immediately when we play Karn if we need some Graveyard Hate. And we've got Perilous Snare. This is a relatively new one. It's basically an Oblivion Ring that we can fetch from our sideboard. And that's all you need to know about it. The other cards on our sideboard, we just got Carpet, because if we can get some free mana, we'll take it, because our deck is very mana hungry. A little bit of removal and Dismember, and then a little bit of defense in the Vale of Summer, and some Force of Vigor. This sideboard is pretty much just from a list I found online. The only real changes I've made is adding in the Ugins, and we're going to see how it fares. Alright, remember to like and subscribe, and let's get cloud posting and bring the heat of the new Ugin Eye of the Storms to Legacy. For free, fast and secure worldwide shipping on high-end singles, classic products and full sets, check out 3-for-1 Trading. Whether it's the Legacy or pre-modern that I play on this channel, or even vintage and old school, they've got you covered. Find them through the link in the description of this video and use my code COW3 for free worldwide shipping on your first order over $500 or euros. We're on the play for round 1. What does our hand do here? We've got some payoffs, and hopefully we can use the Kozilek's Command to get there. Our opponent is a Yorion deck. That could mean Death and Taxes, which might be awkward for our lands, but I guess we keep this. The Once Upon a Time can do a lot of work for us. Alright, Once Upon a Time. It's time for you to do a lot of work for us. Let's see how we fare. Interesting. Do I want another Cloudpost? We already have a Cloudpost here. That is the highest upside mana-wise. I'll take a Cloudpost and play a Cloudpost. Hopefully they're not just going to have 4 Wastelands and just put us in the dirt. They could also be like the Control-y Yorion Zenith style builds. That looks like a Wasteland to me though. Not firing it off yet. I don't understand this timing. Right, we have a Cloudpost. So we'll be able to Kozilek's Command for 1 next turn. Not the most exciting thing, but the turn after we can Kozilek's Command for a lot more. This will add 2 to our count. A Mother of Runes. Oh, that's something that's... Is that even worth Kozilek's Commanding? I'm unsure, because we have colourless ways of killing this. I don't think it's worth us trying to kill it. But I will hold up the Kozilek's Command as an option if we need to do something. So the Kozilek's Command can hit this, because this can't gain protection from it. So it does look like we're playing against Death and Taxes. Could you quit it? Let's quit it with these Wastelands. They're going to do it in our upkeep again. Such weird timing if you're going to do it. Okay, they're hitting the Nexus. Sure. I guess we play an Eye of Ugin. So they're an 80 card deck. The chance of them having another Wasteland are pretty low. This is a Karakas with the treatment I dislike where it has the wrong name on the top. Let's play this. We name Giant. So we have a Kozilek's command for 2. This is not an Eldrazi spell. Ophelia. Okay. So we can exile this if we want to and generate some more mana. Which Blessed Meadow? A White Orchid Phantom, you say? Not a big lover of that for us. Okay, so we're going to exile a creature. And I guess we want some mana here. So we get some mana. We're going to exile this White Orchid Phantom here. X is currently 2. Good. Because of the Eye of Ugin here. So we get rid of this. Because if we try and get rid of the Ophelia, they just blink it with the Karakas, then we're kind of in trouble there. Yes, we have a basic forest. Alright, we've so far had to face down 3 removal spells here. That's for our lands. Okay, so the Ophelia blinking out a token is kind of annoying. We did want the mana from it. Maybe we're supposed to take a card there instead. But this does give us the option of maybe making a Karn this turn. Alright, we do get to make a Karn this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. We will minus the Karn. What do I want here? I think it's the One Ring. I think that makes the most sense here. It's easily the most powerful card we've got going on right now. But if we can draw a Planar Nexus, then all of a sudden we shoot up a bunch of mana. We need to draw an untapped land to get this One Ring in play. Recruiter of the Guards. They can go and get a Skyclave Apparition, which can kill our One Ring or our Karn. They also get to blink this a bunch with the Ophelia. I suspect they're going to get a Knight of the Phantom of the Blowing Up Your Lands, whatever it's called. Skyclave. Interesting. I didn't fancy just trying to blow up all of our lands. Maybe they're going to get it with the next one anyway. So the Ophelia blinks the Recruiter. And we're in trouble. So what are they going to get with this Recruiter? We do get protection from a turn for a turn with this One Ring. We're not taking huge amounts of damage yet, but it's going to ramp up. Yeah, so now they're getting the guy that blows up our lands. That is a bit mean. A Karakas, we can bounce the Ophelia so we don't lose 2 of our lands. I hate this. Okay, I'm going to put the One Ring in down. Yes, they can blow it up with a White Orchid Phantom, with the Skyclave Apparition, but hopefully they can't do both. This buys us a turn. But they're going to see that this is just going to be strip mining us now, and then we're going to be very dead. Right, so they're prioritizing the Phantom here. So they're going to take out 2 of our lands. So they're going to take out the Karakas first. We search, we have no things to find. And then they're going to blink, and they're going to take out probably the Urza's Tower. That's the easiest way we can jump up in mana. I guess we activate the One Ring one more time and then probably scoop the game. Because this is going to be a lot. We're going to be losing a land every single turn. Until we can get rid of all these nasty creatures. Right, they're putting a Thalia. Don't see Thalias that often. They are full on mono white by the looks of things. Alright, we lose the tower. Ulamog. Disruptor Flute doesn't stop anything here. 1, 2, 3, 4 mana if we play the Yavimaya. So we can play a Karn. What does that do for us? No, we can't play a Karn because of the... Okay, I think we're just going to skip this one up. Like, our opponent had 3 land destruction spells, or 3 land destruction things as like the first 3 things they did. It's going to be rough. So I guess the Dismembers are probably what we need to stay alive here. Other than that, I'm not particularly interested in these other things. So how do I feel about Dismembers? Where are we going to put those in instead? Maybe over Disruptor Flutes? No, Disruptor Flute on Wasteland. We want to keep that. Come on, brain. We probably should hammer down some of our top end. That's probably the correct thing to do here. But I don't really want to do that. Maybe we don't need the Ulamog because we have the Ugin. We're going to keep the Ugin because that's what we're trying to test today. Are we getting rid of one of our Karns? Maybe we can get rid of a Karn. And then we can get rid of the Bojuka Bog because we don't care about their graveyard. Okay, let's try this. I'll keep this. We're going to start with a Wasteland again. We at least have the crop rotation to effectively counter the Wasteland, but it costs us our Spirit Guide. But we have a turn 2 One Ring here, which should beat everything our opponent's doing We're going for the weird timing again. Let's crop rotation down. So if we want to play... If we get the Urza's Tower, we can still play the One Ring here. That seems good. Alright. They have scooped to a turn 2 copy of the One Ring. I don't blame them. Alright, let's go again. Okay, we have the crop rotation plan again. This is likely to find us a land, and we can just turn 2 One Ring. A wasteland, you say? A Tabernacle. It's the only thing we can find. Sure, I'll play out the Tabernacle. If our opponent wastelands this, then we turn it into a Planar Nexus. Now, if they have a second wasteland, then we're going to have a different problem. So, we crop rotate. Yeah, I guess we... Okay, this is weird, but we're going to do it. So we crop rotate away this Tabernacle. So we get priority here. So we get to just make the One Ring straight away. Like, the One Ring was good enough for our opponent to scoop on turn 2 last time. How do you feel this time, opponent? Another Planar Nexus. I imagine they go after the Planar Nexus as well, so that's quite a good pickup. They're probably just going to play a Felia here and just try and go for the annoying ghost, phantom, blow up your lands man whose name I can now remember. I hope that's not what's happening. Right, they're wastelanding the Planar Nexus. Sure. Oh, they got another wasteland. What is this? A Stoneforge Mystic. What are they going to find? Just a Cauldra, just bash. Sure. So we probably need to do Disruptor Flute on Wasteland here. Why does our opponent keep drawing double Wastelands? They're an 80 card deck. Give us a break. So they're going to choose something else up. It's probably just going to be like the pre-war Formalware or something along those lines. I doubt they have many useful targets. The Ether Spark. What does this even do? Draw some cards eventually. Yeah, I don't... Whatever. I don't think that we have to care about that one. Okay, so we play this one out. We go... Disruptor Flute, name Wasteland. Disruptor Flute, name Stoneforge Mystic. And then next turn... We got 4 mana, 5 mana. So casting the Primeval Titan is possible next turn. Flagstones. 3 mana. Skyclave Apparition. Sure. We already got a bunch of cards out of the One Ring though. Alright, they're exiling our Disruptor Flute. That might not matter. Okay, so now they're going to exile the One Ring. Okay. We need a big turn here. I'm not going to block this. Maybe I could block it, but I don't want to just chump this. So then they're going to exile the One Ring. Yep. A Boseiju. This is 4 mana. So we play this one out. We cast Prime Time. So we say yes. So I kind of want to get an Echoing Deeps here, weirdly. Because then we can get this Tabernacle, and then our opponent has to spend all their mana to keep their guys alive. So I think I'm going to get the Echoing Deeps. And then... Is it just a Cloudpost? I don't think we need a Glimmerpost just yet. We'll get this. And it'll copy the Tabernacle. And what do you want to do with your lands there, opponent? Is there any point attacking with this? Not really. They'll just take 2. This isn't going to be nickel and diming our opponent for a bind. Yeah, so they're just in a bind now where they can wasteland us and keep like the Felia and the Skyclave. That's probably okay. Or they could... Yeah, it's just going to be hard for them to get through this prime time. But that was a horrible match to play. Alright, let's go to round 2. Welcome to round 2. I'll keep this. So there is a temptation to play the Yavimaya first, in case our opponent is playing Oops All Spells. And then we at least have a crop rotation. But I'm just going to play this Cloudpost. Let it be known that I did consider that. I suspect we probably just lose Oops All Spells regardless. Because crop rotation for Bojuka Bog doesn't always get the game won anyway. My opponent doesn't strike me... Like, their name isn't one that I remember being an Oops All Spells player. Like, we've got mana. Mana is certainly not an issue here. Let me play out the Nexus here. So if our opponent is a slow control deck, we will absolutely gobble them up. Because we've got cast triggers and we're hard casting an Emrakul at some point. That is not something control decks get to really do much about. Now, if they've got things like Back to Basics, then it might be a different situation. Hedge Maze. So we could be looking at something like Nadu here. Up the Beanstalk. Alright, so we're probably 4 to 5 colour Beanstalk deck. There should be something that we're just able to continue doing our thing and win the game against. Can I have a copy of the One Ring, please? Are they going to force the will this? No. Wow. Okay, that's pretty amazing news for us then. No force of will on a One Ring. So the One Ring is better card advantage than up the Beanstalk. Obviously, you can have multiple up the Beanstalks and it starts getting silly, but just one for one, the One Ring is the best card advantage engine in Legacy, and I don't think it's close, to be honest. I guess you have like Echo of Aeons where you just reload, throw your hand down, reload, throw your hand down, but that's kind of a different way of approaching things. But just for like a card you play that returns, I think, that returns more cards to you, I think the One Ring is pretty hard to pass on. A Tamiyo, sure. A Kozilek's Command. That's an interesting one as well. Okay, so I'll play this Glimmerpost, I think. Gain some life. This is tapping for 3. So we'll make some green mana. And then we tap this one. And then we'll try and cast a 6-drop. You got Force of Will for this one? No. Well, this seems like it's going to be a very bad time for our opponent here. So where is our Eye of Ugin? Let's get Eye of Ugin and let's get Cloudpost. Just have maximum mana generation. I'm not sure what's in our opponent's hand, but it's going to have to be pretty good. So these both tap for 4. So we've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 mana. Right, they're just ploughing our prime time, but it's already done the thing it needed to do here. So we're probably just going to cast an Ugin here. Well, we're going to tap our One Ring. If we find an Emrakul, then we'll just cast the Emrakul and have a lovely time. Stock up, sure. Interesting to be running stock up and not Rakshas's Bargain. Unless they're like fully in Bant and aren't playing black at all. I don't know why you would play Beanstalk without playing Rakshas's Bargain, to be honest, at the moment. Seems like the card that makes it work now. Alright, that's a lot of mana. Come on, One Ring. What have you got for us? Bunch more stuff. So playing this is adding 3 mana to the board. So it's the same as playing the tower. But then it makes this one adds 4 mana the following turn. Or adds 3 mana the following turn, sorry. Yeah, so I think it's right to play this one out. That's 10 mana, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we can 7 mana of that puts us down to. So are we just casting Ulamog? Or are we want to play the new card. Let's play the new card. Feels like it's very hard for us to lose in this position. Let's just exile their Beanstalk. A Force of Will. Okay. So they're going to counter out Ugin, but they're going to lose their Beanstalk. So this is 5 mana, 6, 7. So we can just tutor for an Eldrazi next turn. That sounds like a good thing for us to be doing. I don't think our opponent's going to have anything like a Back to Basics either. So I guess we just bin off like Echoing Deeps, probably. Or one of the crop rotations also fine. Doesn't really matter here. We're going to put an Emrakul on the stack, and then our opponent's going to die. A Brainstorm. Be my guest. You can have a Tamiyo Planeswalker. It's not going to matter. They're going to have something like Shadow of a Doubt and Stop Us Searching, maybe. That's the sort of level of niche card I think they need here. Leyline Binding can answer Emrakul. What are you putting on top with your stock? Your Mrs. They're putting a stock up on top. I'm not going to try and exile it with a Kozilek's Command. I don't care about that enough. We just have a guaranteed Emrakul. And even if they kill it, we still get an extra turn, and the amount of damage that we can do in an extra turn with our deck is enormous. Right, so they brainstormed, and now they're going to ponder. So they got the stock up in their hand. Now they're pondering to get rid of the cards they put on top with a brainstorm. Pondering again. Do they have something that I'm not aware of that's going to ruin us? I don't know. Let's get an Emrakul, please. And our opponent scoops because we're going to cast the Emrakul. So these sorts of slow control decks are just absolute bread and butter victims for the old Cloudpost decks. They had quite a few islands over there. I'm certainly into having access to some carpet flowers. I don't particularly like crop rotation into our opponent's counterspell deck though. Let's try that. Do I want this Bojuka Bog? Maybe. There are situations where it could come up. I guess the Force of Vigors are kind of interesting as well. We will take out crop rot and crop rotation and maybe one of the Disruptor Flutes. Do you want this Vale of Summer as well, actually? I know, we probably want the Vale. Maybe I'll change that. We got a bunch of mana. What more could we ask for? Does our opponent's deck have Wastelands in? That is certainly a question. A Hedge Maze. Right, Cloudpost. Flood Strand, we're going to see the Up the Beanstalk here. We are indeed. Right, let's go for a Carpet of Flowers. Is this worth a counterspell to you? It's good. Alright. Second main phase. We'll add some green mana, I guess. Cast a Disruptor Flute. Okay. Let's go for Force of Will here. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can cast a Primeval Titan next turn, which should be pretty game over for our opponent. A Tamiyo. Green mana. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we only need to play one more land to make it 6, which means if we play the Cloudpost, that does give us enough, right? Because then this will tap for 3, and then we just have more mana the following turn. Right, prime time. No Force of Will allowed to be cast here. They could have something like a Consign to Memory for the trigger. Leyline Binding. They're going to bind our Disruptor Flutes, so they can Force of Will here. Maybe they don't have the Force of Will and they're trying to dig for it by doing this. They do have the Force. Okay. But again, we can just play the One Ring. We've got Kozilek's Command. Like, we're not under any pressure. And our end game is uncounterable. So it's just a case of, can our opponent get like an early Murktide Regent down and start racing? Lots of cards can help. Lots of cards means it's going to be easier for them to keep us off balance until they can find that Murktide Regent. But there is just this inevitability that we're baking in with our deck. Okay. So flipping the Tamiyo and getting rid of our carpet. It's possible we lose this game. We'll see. Another Tamiyo. Another Kozilek's Command. Right, I'll play out another Cloudpost here. So these tap for 4 each, don't they? Alright, One Ring. Can I have you, please? Yes. That doesn't strike me as a great situation for our opponent to be in. Okay, let's scry and make some guys if they don't have any counter magic going. Oh no, we can't tag ourselves, can we? I do this all the time with Kozilek's Command, I must admit. So let's make some green mana here. Let's cast Once Upon a Time. So 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If we get the Eye of Ugin. So we have a route to Emrakul. If we don't have enough mana, we can just get the Ulamog instead. What are they getting back? A Force of Will. Well, we're not going to be playing spells that you can counter, so I'm not sure that's going to be very helpful for you. This also takes them further away from the Tamiyo Ultimate, which maybe gives them enough cards they can put some stuff down that can pressure us. But again, I don't know what our opponent's supposed to do here. This is a horrible matchup for them. Just get this One Ring going. We just have the Emrakul, do we? So this is 5... No, so this is, sorry, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So not quite enough. If we play the Glimmerpost, then this will be 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. So still not enough. So we may as well play the Eye of Ugin and have access to tutoring up an Ulamog. It's very much a case of our diamond shoes being too tight here. We just have an abundance of ways that just win this game. You crack that clue token, opponent. I don't think I've ever lost to a control deck playing Cloudpost. And I don't think I've ever beaten a Cloudpost deck, like a green Cloudpost deck anyway. I've beaten the colourless ones before. Alright, you can life them. So maybe they do have a Wasteland and that's what they've been digging for, but it's just too little too late, I think. Come on and get your clue. They're going to need a lot of consigned to memories. Alright, a Leyline Binding on our One Ring. Draws them some cards, but we will have the ability to blow up some Leyline Bindings soon as well, so we're going to go get an Ulamog. We're not going to cast Ulamog, we're going to cast the Emrakul, but then we're going to cast the Ulamog the turn after. We're also running out of answers that can actually hit our Emrakul. I'm going to have to go to discard here. Let's go tutor up a giant monster. Sure, you can extract my Primeval Titan. That stage of the game has passed. They're doing this because they're going to have to discard anyway. I'm surprised they even brought in the Surgicals. Unless their plan was to, like, wasteland our Cloudpost or something and then extract. That doesn't seem great, though. Can you beat Emrakul into Ulamog? Am I going to play a Disruptor Flute and give our opponent a chance to draw some cards? I don't think so. I think I'm just going to let them go off here. Alright, so we'll play this one out. That's 10 mana, 11, 12, 13. Emrakul, because it costs 2 less because of Eye of Ugin. You got a consign to memory. Stop us taking an extra turn. And then they have to find their last Leyline Binding to kill it. So we got the consign. But we have a pretty large creature over there. And the problem with Leyline Binding is it's a permanent that we get to interact with. Alright. Keep brainstorming there. We know they've got a Force of Will. If they don't find the Leyline Binding immediately, then we just set up the Karakas loop where we bounce this and recast every turn. I'm going to put the consign to memory on top of their library here, or are they going to put the stock up? They're putting the consign to memory. So they're going to consign to memory our Annihilator trigger. That is a plan, but they're also at 14 life, and this is a 15/15 spaghetti monster. So that is an issue for them. Have they found their final Leyline Binding? We still can just lattice lock our opponent as well. We've got many options that win us the game. It's just like a stock up maybe. A brainstorm, sure. And getting back an Uro, sure. Can draw another card. This gains them enough life so they don't immediately die to the Emrakul. Ponder here. How many consigns do I think our opponent has? We can also just play the Disruptor Flute on consign to memory first, and then they have to respond to our Disruptor Flute. Force of Vigor, not the most exciting. So I think we tap these two for Disruptor Flute. Force of Will has to be pitched to that one. Sure. A Leyline Binding, you say? Okay. So they have the consign to memory now that they can also use. Interesting. So any colourless spell we cast will get countered. That's what you're telling me here. So let's exile their creature. And then I'd like to make some spawns. Do I want to make spawns? I don't want to draw a card. I don't want to draw a card. Oh yeah, we get to do it for more, don't we? Because of the Eye of Ugin. Is this worth your consign to memory? A Force of Negation pitching stock up. Sure. Okay, let's try another one. And we can still just Karakas this creature out of the way. A Force of Will. Now, opponent is pretty shy of the old win conditions, it would seem. Let's just send this Uro home. So we've still got a consign to memory to get through here. Our opponents have got 20 cards left in their library, and these are mandatory draw triggers. This deck does deck itself out quite often. Sure, you can get your stock up back. I wonder if there's some big haymaker they're drawing towards. We can hope there isn't. We can Force of Vigor on our opponent's end step. And brainstorm. How many forces have we gone through? 1 force and a Force of Negation. 2. So 2 Force of Negation, 3 Force of Will we've gone through so far. So maybe just 1 Force of Will left in their deck. But can they even beat this Karakas? They've got Brainstorm. So they can put cards on top and then mill them over with Life from the Lane if they don't want them. But then one of their draws, instead of taking one of the cards out of their deck, it takes 3 cards out of their deck. And, you know, we're still at 24 life. Our opponent hasn't done anything that's remotely approaching to winning this game. Alright, there's a creature that makes them draw a card that we get to bounce easily. Okay. Right, so Dredged Loam there. 14 cards left in library. A Planar Nexus, sure. So what leyline bindings are we going to get rid of? This one has got an Emrakul underneath it, and this one has got a One Ring underneath it. That seems like a good pair of permanents to get back. We don't have loads of Mycospawn to tutor up, which is sad. Not sad for Legacy in general, but sad for us specifically right now, because we could just keep burying our opponent over and over again with a card that just shouldn't have ever existed. Alright, you can crack some more clues. Have they just got like one big 4th Eorlingus that they're trying to win with? That would make sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they can put 9 2/2s in. They played a Wasteland. They're wastelanding our Cloudpost. Okay. But by the time they get their dredging stuff going, unless they've got someone like an Endurance to shove everything back in, it's not going to work out well for them. I think they're better off hitting the Karakas, to be honest with you. There is the Euro. It's back again. 10 cards left in library. Take this one and this one, please. So, make green. Make green. Can I have my bindings back, please? Or my things that you bound back. You have 1 Force of Will left in your deck, I believe. And here it is. So they have to draw 2 cards. I'll bounce this Uro while I'm at it. So now I need to discard a bunch of cards. It has to be a 4th Eorlingus. That's the only reason that the only thing that would make sense here. So we can uncounterably blow up one of the thing. I guess they could consign to memory the trigger on that. That's interesting. This costs 10 mana. We know they're going to consign to memory this. I would like to blow up. I guess we'll take out the bindings. I suspect this is getting consigned to memory. But we need to get that out of our opponent's hand before we can put the Karn in. Alright. So we have the ability to Boseiju and get our Emrakul back. We can't do that this turn cycle because we needed the legendary creature to make this cost 1 less. Because the filtering here isn't free. Okay, they're getting back the consigned to memory. But again, our opponent has 7 cards left in their library. What is their approach to actually winning this game? Do you have the 4th Eorlingus? Feels like it, the amount of lands being tapped right now. So this is going to give them the Monarch as well. So they're going to go... How many guys have they got? I assume they've done the maths correctly. So this is 12 damage. This is a 2-turn clock. So they're going to go to 4 cards. And then it's our turn. And then they kill us. Yeah, I think they might have us. Obviously, we've got to gain 3. And this had to go very long for our opponent to have a chance here. What is the plan? We could uncountably bring back our Emrakul. And see if our opponent makes a mistake. So we need our opponent to make a mistake and not consign to memory the leyline dying trigger. So we block here. We don't take lethal damage. We don't have a win on the crackback though. But our opponent is going to draw a card here. A lot of the spells in their deck will cause them to deck out here. Kind of need some more mana. The One Ring. Okay. Our opponent has a consigned to memory is the problem. How many islands do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Loads of islands. Okay. I'm seeing loads of islands here. Do we attack first and force out the consigned to memory? I think we do. If I attack them, they can sacrifice set up the beanstalks. I don't think we want to do that, actually. Weirdly, we want them to make it so they can't force of will this Carpet Flowers. Oh, we should have played this pre... Oh my god, I've made a horrible punt here. We were supposed to play this pre-combat, weren't we? Oh no, I've actually completely punted this game. Yeah, we had that game completely wrapped up. We play the Carpet Flowers pre-combat, and then post-combat we get enough mana to play both of these and the Ensnaring Bridge. Ugh. Yeah, that was just an easy win that I threw away there. Alright, let's have a Veil of Summer in. Again, I think this matchup, I'm probably taking it a bit cavalier because of how good the matchup is for us. Maybe we take out... Do we take out the Bojuka Bog? We've seen they have Wasteland, Loam Lock, but that's kind of what the Disruptor Flute is there for. So maybe we want the Disruptor Flutes and not the Bojuka Bog. Maybe we'll trim one of these Kozilek's commands because it's annoying to dump a bunch of mana into it and just get it consigned to memory. Yeah, we just speed that one. This has lots of mana but doesn't go anywhere. But we have a Cavern. Oh, mulligan. Okay, this one looks a little bit better to me. Let's get rid of those Echoing Deeps. We will need to find something else later on. Alright, we'll play out this tower. So this one, yeah, the mana looks a bit squiffy on this one, but we actually have something to do with our mana. Whereas the last one kind of just had mana and Disruptor Flute and like nothing else. So I'd rather have a spell that does something. There is a strong possibility that we win by our opponent timing out as well. So we'll be F6ing our opponent's turns as much as we can. Beanstalk? Sure. Another thing about these Beanstalk decks is when they don't have a Beanstalk, their deck looks pretty bad as well, which is interesting. Okay, let's go for a Carpet. Alright, we'll just F6 here. It's not going to help our time constraints by playing out a Carpet. But we've got a minute and a half above our opponent, so I reckon we should be fine. Casting big X spells isn't the most fun thing to do when you're on Magic Online trying to not time out. Right, they've got the Beanstalk set up. So yes. And we'll name green mana here. Target us. So they have to use a Force here, rather than a Consign to Memory, which is why it's worth us firing this off now. I'm expecting a Force, and they're going to draw 2 cards. Right, so going to Leyline Binding away our Carpet Flowers. A Force of Vigor. I will play out a Cavern of Souls. I will name Giant. I don't really need to Force of Vigor here. Basic Plains. What next, opponent? An Uro. I currently only have 1 blue source. Now they have another blue source. A Karn the Great Creator. I'm not expecting that guy to resolve. Right, I think we try and hit this Uro in our opponent's upkeep. So we will exile up to X-type cards from graveyard, and I think I just want a bunch of mana here. No, we're probably better off with cards, aren't we? So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So we get to take out 3 things. So we'll take out those 3 things. So our opponent wants to interact, they have to do it now. A Force of Negation, hard cast, sure. Wish I didn't punt the second game, to be honest with you. We could have been out of here by now. Karn the Great Creator. It's a Haymaker, let's cast it. Another Force of Negation, sure. Our opponent's under 5 minutes on their clock now. Get the 0. A Tabernacle, let's make our opponent waste their time paying for triggers. That's always fun. Karn. 4 minutes is definitely enough time for this to connect and kill us a bunch. This game, it basically is just due to my failure in the previous game. This should be like an 80% matchup in favour of Cloudpost, in my opinion. Carpet of Flowers. A Leyline Binding. Sure. If we draw the Karakas, we probably just win the game. As weird as that is. So next turn we will fire off a Force of Vigor in an attempt to mess up some of our opponent's permanents. Getting back a Force of Will. We need to stop yielding through the turn here. Karn the Great Creator. Are we on the... I think we're on the Force of Vigor plan. So the Force of Vigor that we're going to play is going to make our opponent's Force of Will have to get fired off, and then that should hopefully pave the way for a Karn. So just going to flip the Tamiyo. I apologise to all Cloudpost players out there having to watch me lose this round. Alright, so there are some other Beanstalk triggers again for our opponent. That was a Force of Will we knew about. Okay. Green. Green. Uncounterable green. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're going to do my triggers with a Consign to Memory here. They are indeed. And do they have access to a way of killing this? They have a Source of Power Shares in their graveyard. They should be able to work it out. Leyline Binding obviously better. Alright, that's the game. Yep, we basically lost an unlosable matchup. So apologies, everyone. I just biffed it on the last turn of the previous game. And then this one, our opponent just had like the nuts early doors of just like the double beanstalk and just kept us off of balance. And we just never drew any of our like big mana stuff to really get there. Unfortunate. Let's go to round 3. It's nice to see people playing control decks, although I'm not convinced I would still want to be playing control deck in Legacy right now. But it's nice to see people playing the deck at least. Let's go to round 3. For the best Eternal experience this summer, check out Eternal Mania in Hasselt, Belgium from August 8th to 10th. Aside from hosting the European Legacy Masters, they have a whole host of other tournaments from team trios to old school and pre-modern. I will be there playing Legacy and hanging out as a special guest. This will also be the first event that I'll be giving out my own special Marital Age tokens, so why not come down to enjoy an awesome weekend ran by one of the best TOs in Europe. This is not an opener that I want to keep, so I'm going to send this one back. Okay, this one can get there. We'll put the Bojuka Bog back. That's something I would like to turn into something else down the stretch. I would like to be able to fetch instant speed down the stretch. An Elegant Parlor. Haven't seen one of these in a hot minute. I wonder. They're playing the new creature that, like null rods and cursed totems on a creature, maybe. Right, Cloudpost. Chrome Mox. Okay, so maybe they're not playing that guy because that doesn't seem like it goes very well with the Chrome Mox, since it turns off your own Chrome Mox. Blood Moon. Well, sure. That's not the one, is it, for us right there? Okay. So it's going to be difficult to cast some of our spells. But not impossible. We got to hope our opponent doesn't have like a bunch of pressure to follow up. Broadside Bombardiers is certainly pretty pressure oriented, isn't it? So we'll take 2. There's his tower. Cool. That's a red. We can play a Karn next turn. Yep, Syrian Spirit Guide. I wonder if that's going to be attacking us for 2 or being thrown for 5. I guess it depends how much more chaff they have in their hand. If they wait a turn, this can deal 7 damage. We'll see what our opponent wants to do. They might just want to get this game over and done with, though. Once upon a time. Well, we haven't cast any spells yet, so... Joke's on you, opponent. Elvish Spirit Guide. That's something we can work with, maybe. Let's get Karn going. I think I want to just take out their Chrome Mox. I can't throw it. It's either that or we go and get the... I guess this will be on 3. So that's kind of an annoying number for our opponent to deal with. So we can go and get the 1 ring here. I think that's better than Ensnaring Bridge. It's going to be hard to get the Ensnaring Bridge going. I don't think Cursed Totem is going to work. Ensnaring Bridge. We play out the Ensnaring Bridge. How many cards are we going to have in hand, though? A lot, still. 1, 2, 3. So we get rid of 2 cards. And then we play the bridge. And then we're going to have 4 cards. 3 cards if we find a land. So that's not really good enough, is it? Do I like casting the 1 ring very much? The Cursed Totem, that could do some work as well. It is tough. I guess we get the bridge. Because we can crop rotate and then crop rotate again. So we can get those 2 cards out of our hand. We just need to draw a land, really. We're probably just going to draw like a massive 15 drop or something and then just not be able to empty our hand and just die to Bombardier anyway. So now they have a choice about what they want to do with this Karn. Because they can just throw the Chrome Mox at it and attack it with the Spirit Guide and bash us for 2. If we draw our basic forest, then we can play the Primeval Titan. Okay, they're attacking Karn with both. And just having a big 6/6 guy is fine. Another Blood Moon, we don't care about that one. We already have your Blood Moon. What are we going to draw? A Disruptor Flute. Okay. So... Floater mana. Crop rotates. It doesn't really matter what land. None of our lands are coming back here. So we go and get our forest. Then we cast a Disruptor Flute. We name Broadside Bombardiers. So we don't get chucked. Anything chucked at us. And then we can get this Engineer Ensnaring Bridge out of our hand. And then we go into Turtle Town. If we find a Spirit Guide, we get to do the Primeval Titan. But we've got things like Karn that plays here. We've got the One Ring, which is obviously a bit of a nombo with the Ensnaring Bridge. We'll see. Not having a waste to fetch, so we can't ever get the colourless to play this. Well, I guess it's colourless. Colourless is a big issue there for us. What's happening here? Embercleave. What? I've not seen one of those for a hot minute. So they're going to pump up their Spirit Guide. So they're going to come in for 6, 7, 8. That's half our life total. I would love to draw a spell that we can cast. That would be... Or a land. Land is fine. Land is fine. Okay. So play this, and then... I guess we crop rotate this. Do any of these matter? No. None of them matter whatsoever. We may as well get one, but I guess none of them come in tapped anyway, do they? Because they're all mountains. So it really doesn't matter. Okay. So we can get tapped by the Bombardiers, but not by the Spirit Guide. If I can just find myself another Spirit Guide. And then we can play the Primeval Titan. And then we can just get a bunch of mana. And have a biggest creature. 4 mana is Winota. The One Ring. Sure. I guess we're going to be looking towards some Force of Vigors in the sideboard. Alright, just the Bombardiers comes in. They can't fling anything because of Disruptor Flute. Come on. A Boseiju. Huh. We can blow up one of the Blood Moons. We do have a second Boseiju. Now, I suspect our opponent probably has more Blood Moon effects going on. But this gives us the possibility of drawing another Boseiju and all of a sudden having lots of mana. Maybe we're just supposed to play it out and just have more lands so that we're more likely to cast some of our bigger drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess Ugin is kind of one of the things we're drawing to. Yeah, maybe we're supposed to play it out just so Ugin becomes a better top deck. But we need to draw runner lands to do that anyway. I don't know. Chalice to Void X equals 1. We can still cast our crop rotations into the Chalice, but we lose a land to do so. So that doesn't seem good because the additional cost is still paid. That's pretty smart. We've burned through 2 crop rotations, so hopefully we're not going to draw any more. So 4th Eolingus? Feels like a 4th Eolingus. Because that just kills us. Another Blood Moon, okay. And a Stoneforge Mystic. Our opponent's deck's got some wild stuff in it. What are they going to find here? It's a Cauldra. I suspect that means they don't have any other equipment to fetch. The Stoneforge attacks for 1 next turn. A land. Doesn't matter. It's still a land. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what do we need to do here? We can't cast a Karn in a meaningful way. Yeah, we just need to draw the Elvish Spirit Guide to get our hand low enough. That is our solution to this problem. Broadsword Bombardiers, that'll do. Okay. Sideboard wise, I guess we want our Force of Vigors. We only have 2 though. But I want them, obviously. And I guess the Dismembers are pretty good here too. What do we not like? We do not need a Bojuka Bog. The crop rotations are pretty important to turn temporary green into permanent green. The Kozilek's command becomes more difficult to cast, so I think I'm going to ease back on those. I like being able to name the Broadsword Bombardiers. We've also seen the One Ring, which we don't really want to name because we have our own, but sometimes we have to. We can also name Stoneforge Mystic in that sort of situation as well. Is it just boarding out more Kozilek's commands? I think so. Okay, we can keep this. Cloudpost, go. A mountain. Alright, so we get a chance. We play this out. This gives us some options here. So we can play Disruptor Flute on some scary monster, or we can turn something into a basic forest if we need to. We can also just float the mana and then Boseiju away a Blood Moon. So tap this for 2. Make a green. Let Blood Moon resolve. Right, let's take out this Blood Moon now. So probably get an Elegant Parlor here, would be my guess. A Glimmerpost, that is more mana, isn't it? Let's get Karn the Great Creator down. I think we probably just want a One Ring here. We can play a Lattice next turn, because we can play this as just an untapped land. So if our opponent doesn't do anything to commit to the board this turn, then we'll just Lattice up. Otherwise, we're just going to start One Ringing. Bombardiers. I feel it's a Blood Moon. Okay. You got it. Chalice of the Void where X equals 1. A Fury. What do they pitch? A Rabble Master. Taking out our poor defenseless Karn. I guess we're just going to Force of Vigor these things away. I like having lots of mana. Karn the Great Creator. You're back again. I'm just going to play a One Ring instead though. I'll play this as a Boseiju. So we should be able to play a Primeval Titan next turn. Unless we get Blood Moon again. Third one's the charm, I guess. But either way, we've still got like colourless things we're doing over here. A Rabble Master. That is not very threatening. Do you have a Blood Moon? I suspect the One Ring draws us a land that gives us the Primeval Titan. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6 mana already. But we go down 1 to filter. So we just need 1 land that we can put into the filter. Alright, we'll take 0 damage because of our One Ring. They obviously still get a guy and it still has to attack. Is Blood Moon in the second main phase? It is not. Find us a land. We found a land. This goes and becomes not only the biggest creature in play, but also gets us our forests for next time they have a Blood Moon. And what do I want here? Just another Cloudpost, just max on mana, I think is probably what we're up to. Primeval Titan is going to be very difficult for our opponent to interact with. So they probably just attack us for 1, or they attack us with 2 1/1s. We block 1, take 1. I suspect that's how this turn goes. I'm attacking with the Rabble Master as well. Sure, I'll take that. So our opponent has to have something else, like a Fury or whatever. But that's fine. We've cleared a Rabble Master. We've got other things we can do with Karn. We've got the One Ring running. We've only got 1 card in hand, so we can't be Blood Moon and Fury. If they just Fury, just leave us with all the mana in the world. So we've got, what, 4 Cloudposts here. This is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 mana. Sure, you can take out our Primeval Titan. Draw some cards. Emrakul the Aeons Torn. We can probably do that next turn, can't we? I'm going to play this Cloudpost. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we can just cast this now, right? And that is the ball game. They will die in their extra turn. They're only on 14 life. Alright, back to the sideboard. I like how we've changed things up. I think I'm just going to do it again. Do I want another One Ring in the main deck, actually? That is an interesting proposition. But what would come out for this One Ring? We could take out one of our Ugins. They're quite expensive. Alright, we'll try that. Actually, let's take out the let's take out the Ulamog and have the third Ugin in, but what does this hand do? It doesn't lose to Blood Moon. It can sweep up a creature if they're going for an early pressure route. Okay, I think I'm okay to keep this one. It's pretty medium. But we have green pip, so we can use all of our green spells, provided we're not Blood Mooned. But we do have an answer for the Blood Moon, answer for creature. It's quite defensive. Our opponent has been showing us that they're more into lock pieces than aggroing us down. Well, they do have the Rabble Master as well. I wonder if they're running Winota. Simian Spirit Guide. It's going to be a Chalice for 1. 2 Simian Spirit Guides. It's just the Rabble Master. Okay. This is a lot of our opponent's hand, and the Dismember will clean this guy up nicely. We need to make a decision about what we're doing with this once upon a time. It is, at the moment, it is our green card for Force of Vigor. I think it probably needs to stay as our green card for Force of Vigor. Right, so we're going to kill this Rabble Master in our opponent's main phase. We'll let them surveil before they know that they're about to lose their Rabble Master. So they're not playing a Blood Moon this turn. Do I want to? Yeah, I think I'm going to cast this for free. And then we're going to Dismember. Elvish Spirit Guide is pretty good here. That kind of covers us from all the bases. Sure, I'll take that. Alright, we'll take 4 to kill this Rabble Master, but it's going to be gone. And then we've got a pretty untroublesome clock here. And if we get to keep our lands as what they're supposed to be, then we can just gain it all back with a Glimmerpost soon. I'm going to play this Cloudpost. I don't believe I'm going to play this Naming Blood Moon. I'm just going to hold it as our green card for the Force. We're going to see a Blood Moon. Red, red. Chalice of the Void X equals 1. That's fine. Shuts down our crop rotations, but that's not really what the game is about at the moment. And if it becomes the thing that the game is about, then we can obviously work around that. Karn, the Great Creator. So we play this one out. That gives us 4 mana. So we can play Karn. And we're going to plus it on the Chalice of the Void here. So we can lattice lock our opponent next turn with a Karn that will be at a reasonable enough loyalty that they shouldn't be able to pressure it. Because this is plus 2 mana. And we had 4 this turn. So we'll see. If they put some more pressure in play, then obviously we can't go for the lattice lock and we have to work something else out. A Rabble Master. Okay, we're going to have to work something else out, but that's fine. So we can get... Are they going to go after us or the Karn, I wonder? Just have a little view of our sideboard and see if there's anything else that we want to get here. We can get the Perilous Snare and just take out the Rabble Master. I don't think we're in the right situation to be going for Bridge. We've got a lot of cards in hand still. And they're both coming at Karn. I think our opponent is quite new to Magic Online. It took them a while to click through this. So, what are we doing with our Karn this turn? I guess we'll see what we draw and maybe it changes our mind. And Urza's Tower, that's a lot of mana, isn't it? That's plus 3 mana. So, if we get a Perilous Snare, then our Karn dies. Or we could get the One Ring. Just get the One Ring. No, we don't have a One Ring, do we? No, we'll get the... I think we get the Snare. They kind of clean up our board quite handily, though. Right. So we'll take out the Rabble Master. And I think I will Disruptor Flute. Naming Broadside Bombardiers. I think that's the best way our opponent has of putting a bunch of damage into us. There is an activated ability on this when it has max speed. We are probably never going to hit max speed. The slowest of all mechanics. Max speed. If they've got a Blood Moon, we have an answer to that already. Touch of the Spirit Realm. Interesting. We're going to get rid of our Snare here. Was it one target, artifact or creature? So we can target our Perilous Snare. So how much mana are we going to have? 1, 2, 3. We've got some life gain from the Glimmerpost coming in. I think this is okay. We get hit for 1 and we lose the Karn. But then we untap. We gain 3 with the Glimmerpost. And we got a decent selection of draws that we can hit. I just don't want to get... I don't want to hit this to get rid of the... to bring back our thing and get rid of the Rabble Master. When our opponent has the option of playing things like Blood Moon, which completely eradicate what we're doing. Come on. You can get their opponent. Yep, right. Attacking with all the things in the correct way. We can always play this Elvish Spirit Guide if we draw a green card. Once upon a time, that is a green card. I guess we play out the Glimmerpost. So this can just trade with the Rabble Master. It's certainly possible they're sandbagging something like a Fury. It's not outside the realms of possibility. A Rabble Master. A second Rabble Master. How much mana do we have? 1, 2, 3... 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Don't like this second Rabble Master. We might be in the Pitch Force of Vigor to kill one of their guys mode. We don't like that very much. So they're going to be huge though, aren't they? I think we have to hit this now. Or hit the one that isn't summoning sick. This way we clean up one of these guys for free. So the other option we had available to us there is to just use the Once Upon a Time and see if we can dig up a Prime Time. Force of Vigor. Okay, well at least we're not dead to Blood Moon, I suppose. Imagine they're just going to keep getting in for 2 damage by sending all the guys. We only block 1. If they ever turn the Rabble Master sideways, we can trade. If they remove our Spirit Guide, though, we're in a bit of trouble. Blood Moon? Touch of the Spirit Realm. And we have to make the same play as last time. Okay, so we're going to take 2. We'd love to draw a Primeval Titan. We got loads of mana. If we cast Primeval Titan, we just win the game, I think. Karn the Great Creator. How much mana do we say we have? So this is 3, 6, 7. Okay, yeah. So we go cast a Karn. We can stop the Rabble Master from attacking at least. And then we can start turning our other artifacts into creatures so that we have double blockers. So we can actually start making a dent in the number of things they have. If they send them all at Karn, then we lose the Karn and don't get to do that though. But we save ourselves some life. Right, they're sending them all at Karn. Sure, we save some life, we clean up a guy. Can I please draw a Primeval Titan? That's all I want. Disruptor Flute. Ugh, that's not really very helpful, is it? I guess we want to say Blood Moon here. Just make it cost more money. Oh, more mana, sorry, not more money. Okay, so we're going to be taking 3 a turn. So our opponent's got us on a 3-turn clock. We've got another Glimmerpost we can draw, which gives us another turn. We've got Primeval Titan, which just wins us the game. We've got Ulamog, which we're really close to casting. There's many ways that we can try and win this game. Also, our opponent's only got 5 minutes left on their clock, and they are playing quite slowly. If we draw Ulamog now, it's bad. We need to draw the land before we draw the Ulamog. Otherwise, it just jams up our hand, and then the Rabble Master gets to attack. Echoing Deeps. We don't have a land in the graveyard. Arab Mesa doesn't actually fetch us anything. So we just have an Echoing Deeps. So now we have enough mana to cast Ulamog. So I'm pretty sure Ulamog's 10. Yeah, Ulamog's 10. So if we draw an Ulamog, it's fine. We don't have any cards we can't cast in our deck because we already have it in our hand. Fury. That sucks a little bit for us. Doesn't really change the clock, I suppose, though. Okay, so we're going to take 4 this turn. We have 1 turn that works. So we can cast a 1 ring. Just Primeval Titan. Once upon a time. Okay, how much is this tapping for now? A fair bit. Let's cast this and hope for the best. Karakas, Planar Nexus, Urza's Tower. Urza's Tower doesn't get us where we need to go. We're just dead here. Well, that was very underwhelming. I feel like we should have just had that game, but our deck just didn't really do the thing. The lack of having like just these Mycospawns that just gum up the works like it used to have is really being felt, actually. I wasn't expecting it to feel this bad, but it does. Alright, on to round 4. Alright, we have an appearance of Ugin. That's exciting. I'll keep this. A Tundra. A Nomad's Encore. Okay. Is our opponent going to kill us on turn 2? It's possible. So what we're going to do is hold up Bojuka Bog. So if they go for the Cephalid Illusionist combo, we can just strip their graveyard out and hopefully win the game. Alright, they're not going for it right now. That is a ponder. Alright, we'll take 1. We don't care about that. That's not how we're going to lose this game. We're going to lose this game on very different margins. Alright. We've got the ability to play Disruptor Flute around a day. So if our opponent puts like a Nadu on the stack, we can Disruptor Flute. A Cephalid Illusionist. I believe it's best to Disruptor Flute here. So we shut the Nomad off from being able to activate abilities. We did that around a days. If they've got a Shuko, then we have a second line of defense in the Crop Rotate for Bojuka Bog. Okay, we're up to 5 mana now. Next turn we can cast an Ugin and blow up like the Illusionist. Probably the Illusionist. Milling over another Nomads, sure. We also have Boseiju for a Shuko here. I don't think we're going to get killed by their mediocre beatdown. Play this one out. We could turn it into a forest, but then we have to go through these other hoops. So we just say no and it comes in untapped. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We cast Ugin. I will exile your Illusionist. I would like to gain 3 life and draw a card, please. Another Spirit Guide. That's not unhelpful. Alright, we're doing the Ugin thing. And they've conceded from the game. Excellent. So, I think this is probably a game where we're going to want the Dismembers. How do I feel about the Vale of Summer? That's probably good too. Is it good? It's okay. Our opponent's on a defensive route. The Cursed Totem is very good. We're going to be getting that with our Karn though. The Carpet Flowers can sometimes give us a little bit of mana. The Force of Vigor also plays here. But what doesn't work? Trying to resolve some expensive spells is difficult. The Disruptor Flute is very good. I don't like the crop rotation against the counterspell deck very much. I know that makes it harder for us to do our thing, but I think that's probably just what we have to do. I would probably board out an Ugin normally, but we're here to play with the Ugin and just see how it feels. So I am leaving them in more than I normally would. I would definitely cut them down and have 3 Kozilek's commands instead. I believe in the Once Upon a Time. The Boseiju can deal with some of the things our opponent has, such as a Shuko or an Urza's Saga. Is our opponent going to play the turn 1 Nomads and put the fear into us? They are, off of this lovely plains. Alright, let's Once Upon a Time. Cloudpost, Planar Nexus. Given our hand, it's probably the Planar Nexus, isn't it? It's kind of awkward, but I think we have to play out the... If they go next turn, we're just dead. We can either try and bluff a crop rotation, or we can have the Kozilek's command for turn 2. If they turn to us, then we just lose, and that's fine. Yep, that's pretty good. Let's see if they go for it or not. Looks like they're going for it. Okay, we're going to get to see their deck here. Okay, they got the Eladamri's Call build. I've seen a few people doing that lately. There's the first Nadu, there's a Dread Return. If the Thassa's Oracle is in hand, it's not in hand, it's in their graveyard. Okay, so they have lethal now. We're just trying to see if there's any interesting sideboarding jukes our opponent's done here. 2 Stone Forges is kind of unusual this day and age. So this is the non... Oh no, they do have Urza Saga, right? Yeah, they've got 2 Sagas in there. 3 Sagas. Yep, so then they just get to Thassa's Oracle and we die to the win the game trigger. Okay. Do I want to do anything differently here? I don't like the crop rotations. Sometimes they're like our emergency line of defense. Maybe we do need our crop rotations here, just to stop that from happening. But how are we supposed to fit them in? I guess we will trim one of these Ugins. Maybe we just off the Kozilek's command. Do we need this Ulamog? Like, it's pretty good still. Alright, we'll try this. Combo has always been the thorn in Cloudpost's side. Alright, we'll keep this. We have a piece of interaction for their creature-based combo. Free spell for free. Prime Time. I like Prime Time. We don't have any way of casting it though. Ulamog is kind of expensive. I'm probably not about that just yet. Do I think we can just eventually find a green source? Or 2 green sources? Sure, I'll take the Prime Time. So our opponent is likely to play some sort of fetch land, which we can then turn the Echoing Deeps into, if we wish. Which can then go and find us a first green source. But worst case scenario, this is a green card to pitch to Force of Vigor. I'm going to play out a Glimmerpost here, so that we have the ability to dismember twice around a daze. There's a Misty Rainforest. A Yavimaya, so that was very much the sort of thing I was looking for. So next turn we can cast Prime Time. Now, will our Prime Time resolve? Probably not. There's 3, 4, and then 2 green. So this is another green source. If we want it, we don't need it. Now we have the Yavimaya. We're seeing end step. Eladamri's Call. Search a library for a creature card. Put it in your hand. Nadu Winged Wisdom. That is a Magic the Gathering card, isn't it? I don't think I'm going to waste my Primeval Titan to kill this Saga. Can I kill your Nomads? We can. Would I like to kill the Nadu right now? Or is that not what we're about just yet? I think we'll kill the Nadu. They do get a free card here. Force of Will. Are you going to protect your Nadu though? They might protect the Nadu. They tutored for this. They clearly don't have another one in hand. Alright, Force of Will, pitching Force of Will. Alright, they had another Force as well. Alright, Primeval Titan, be good. Be the thing we need you to be. A third Force of Will. Okay. Okay. Things are getting difficult now. So this next turn will give them the ability to Shuko a bunch. Okay, they've got nomads, they're just going to be drawing extra cards straight away. But they're kind of out of counter magic. They've got 1 force left in their deck. Now, they get to draw 4 cards every turn cycle. Not an easy thing for us to beat. And they do have a force of negation that we know about now. I don't know if I want to force of vigor here. A second force of negation. And the nomads, this is another 2 cards. Nakariba, that's another 2 cards. If they can get the mana for it. Attack us for 3. I'm not resolving this crop rotation very easily, am I? Are we just taking out both of their sagas here? Does it matter? I don't think anything matters here. I think our opponent just has a combo that is unassailable for us at this stage. The One Ring, this won't resolve. I don't think we can beat the Nadu combo. They're going to draw 6 cards this turn. Nadu combo too strong. Alright, we're 4 rounds in and we are struggling today. We are 1 and 3. We've been doing 1-2s all the time and it felt like we should have won some of those games, but we didn't. So the deck is certainly better than the record shows, but it's been a bit of a rough one. Let's see if we can get a win in the final round. It's okay, I guess we can keep this. I guess I haven't played against Usul spells for a little while. So it doesn't hurt with this hand to play the forest out and at least have access to Bojuka Bog in an emergency. The hand is a bit slow, we're going to need a little help. A Leyline of the Void. Okay, I suspect our opponent is probably not going to be doing the whole Oops All Spells thing. So let's just play a Cloudpost. We could be looking at something like Helm of Obedience combo. Certainly feels like Helm of Obedience combo is heading our way. Planar Nexus. Sure, that gets us some more manas. A Karn the Great Creator. Not a lover of seeing that one. I'm going to go and get a Helm of Obedience by any chance. They are indeed. So how do we beat this? We need to find our Boseiju. So at end step, we could turn this Planar Nexus into another Cloudpost. Then we untap with 4 mana. So we could Kozilek's Command for 2. And that digs us 2 cards deeper. So we could Kozilek's Command for 1 now. Or we could Kozilek's Command for 2. And then we have the little spawns to give us the mana. So I think it is best to get a Cloudpost here. We're not on many outs, I'll tell you that much. I wish I could carry that 1 mana over, but nope. Urza's Tower. Well, sure, that didn't really work out for us, did it? So we need to have green mana to cast the Boseiju. So what we get to do here is target ourselves for a little bit. Put this on the bottom, put this on the bottom. Okay, so we need to find... Disruptor Flute was the other one we could find there. We are 1 mana shy of Karn, so we just have to hope our opponent is missing the land to activate the Helm this turn. That is our solution. Unlike Painter, because this exiles all the cards, it means that we can't win by our Emrakul looping things. You're going to activate the Helm? I suspect they will. A classic example of just combo ripping through Cloudpost. Okay, what works here? I would like some Force of Vigors, please. I don't think I want the Vale of Summer. It can help us against potential hand disruption, but it's like a one-off. It doesn't seem particularly useful to be boarding in. Dismember can kill the Dathomir Voidwalker if that's their other line. So I'm interested in these potentially. The Kozilek's Command, it can help us dig for specific answers, which is kind of something we need. We don't need a Bojuka Bog. The Tabernacle might be useful still. The Disruptor Flute looks very good. The Karn looks very good. Maybe we're trimming one of the Ugins. That gets us 2 Force of Vigors. And if we want the Dismembers, we're going to have to be cutting things like Prime Time. Probably one of our big boys. I think the Ulamog is actually better than the Emrakul here. Let's trim a K command to get one of these in. And maybe we can... I don't think we can trim on the Once Upon a Times. Maybe we can. I'm boarding in some stuff that don't get found by Once Upon a Time anyway. Well, it is a green card. I don't know. I'm not really jiving with this build, if I'm being honest with you. Okay, a turn to One Ring. That sounds like a thing that I would like to do. We have a Dismember for turn 1, so there's no ley line, so we've got some time. I suspect a turn 2 One Ring is going to be good, as is often the case. Alright. An Urza Saga. Sure. A Chrome Mox, yep. An Oppo Agent. Those are pretty good against us. A Trinisphere. Sure. We don't really care about that because we're just trying to cast really big spells. So, like, it's good in the early turns, but when we get to a certain point, we just kind of continue to do our thing here. A Force of Vigor, we can fight off if we want to. Just another Planar Nexus is probably the best land to play out here. Or is it the... Actually, the Yavimaya looks pretty good here. Because then we could just hardcast this Force of Vigor and blow up these 2 permanents. And leave them stuck under their own Trinisphere. That was a little bit rude of us, but I don't mind it. So they can't Dark Ritual out anything here. And at some point we're just going to draw enough stuff with the One Ring that we get to win the game. That's kind of what this card does. Okay. So we have the Ulamog in a few turns' time. Going to need to get some more mana going for that way. How much do I need green mana is the next question. Let's play this out. We're going to clean up here. And get rid of the Once Upon a Time and the Cavern. And we still need to get rid of another one, don't we? I like being able to loop stuff here. The Glimmerpost is certainly going to be useful for what I have in mind soon. Okay, I think it's the Dismember. How much do I need this Yavimaya? Like, it's great if we draw the Prime Time. Helm of Obedience, I think. I don't really want to name the Karn because we have our own Karn. So I can crop rotation now. If I want to. And just work towards... Yeah, I think we do want to do that. Our opponent can't Oppo Agent with what they are showing us. So we go and get a Cloudpost here. Yep, One Ring, you can continue to do your One Ring things. Sure, I like to draw lots of cards. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we can just cast an Ulamog here, right? And take out our opponent's remaining lands. Goodbye, your lands. I do like ending a game where my opponent's only permanent is a Trinisphere, though. There's something poetic about that. Alright, that felt pretty good. Is the Ugin that good? Like, it can blow up a ley line, can't blow up the Helm, can't blow up a Karn. Alright, we're just going to send it. It worked last time. Let's hope for the best. I've got a lot of thoughts on what I'd rather be playing instead of this list, which is not necessarily what you want to hear while I'm still playing a game, but it's been some interesting learning to be taken from this one. We can answer a Douthie. We have a turn 2 One Ring. Okay. Very much the same hand as last time, but being on the draw this time might be different. No hand disruption. Pleased about that. Karn the Great Creator. That might be better than a One Ring if our opponent doesn't play any like pressure. So our opponent could just flash in an Oppo Agent here. They could have Orcish Bowmasters as well. So the Urza's Tower Planar Nexus starts feel absolutely gross. We don't need to draw a card now. We can see what our opponent does with this mana. Is it Oppo? It was the Oppo. And there's a Saga, sure. We're going to see a Leyline, a Karn. Karn is pretty annoying. What are we going to reveal here? Liquid Metal Coating. Yeah, we're not a fan of that one. So our One Ring doesn't get to do anything here. Primeval Titan. Can we cast you? No. What is our play here? I think we want to make a Karn, turn our One Ring into a creature, dismember this, hit the Karn, take the Karn out. I think that is our line. What is the best land to play here? It's probably the Yavimaya. This way we are more likely to cast a... We can play whatever we want and cast a Titan, because we almost always want to cast a Titan next turn. Alright, Karn. Let's... doing it in a funny way because we have black mana. Let's make green mana. I get this gone. Plus this on the One Ring. Go to attack. So this can't be snuffed out either because it is indestructible still. Attack Karn the Great Creator. Alright, that turn worked out alright for us. If they're just making constructs, then we're okay. They can't win with Helm of Obedience whilst we have the Karn in play. Between us, we're making sure everyone has lots of bayous. Old Yavimaya plus Herbal combo. So we can threaten the Lattice Lock next turn with this Karn as well. We've really put our opponent in a bind here. Attacking with a One Ring. Pretty good. It does it all. Pithing Needle. Are they going to name Karn the Great Creator or are they going to name the One Ring? If they name Karn the Great Creator, they are aware that the Lattice Lock can get them. Our opponent is showing Opposition Agent mana here, which I'm not a big fan of. Let's draw some cards. This is just a Bowmasters. Oh yeah, you can have a Bowmaster. I don't care about that at all. That is small fry compared to what we're about to be doing. And now we just know there's no Opposition Agent coming our way. Okay, so what is the correct land for us to play? If we want the Glimmerpost, this is only going to gain us 2 life. Whereas next turn it's going to gain us way more life. But it will be part of our overall number of Cloudposts, but then again, so will the Planar Nexus. So I think we play the Planar Nexus here. So let's work out. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 Cloudposts. This is 8 mana. Or it's going to be 10 mana. So we're going to play a Glimmerpost next turn. That's 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so we just get a couple of Cloudposts here. And that should keep us able to cast Emrakul next turn. They don't have enough pressure to get through and kill our Karn and stop the Helm of Obedience kill, even if they had enough mana to put that into play. What am I worried about them getting off of this as a Saga? I don't think there's anything I'm too worried about. I've already got a Pithing Needle. They can have other Pithing Needles, they can name them One Ring, but that doesn't matter because we're just going to Emrakul and then they die. That's what this says on it most of the time. Not always, actually. Sometimes it says chump block target Marillage on it. I do enjoy doing that to people. Right, our opponent's just making a construct. They can't get hasty stuff because of the Karns. They can't get the boots of going faster. They're just getting a Chrome Mox with no imprint to pump the size of the construct. But they're going to lose almost all their permanents, and then they're going to lose the game. Just gain some life, just to make sure we're cool on that front as well. 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's the big spaghetti monster. Alright, we got the GGs in chat. Alright, so we did manage to claw it back at the end there. So, after 5 rounds, I gave you 15 games of Magic the Gathering there. So, you can't ask for more than that, right? Good value for money league, I suppose, for you audience members. The control deck that we lost to, I made a mistake that cost us the entire game and the match. And we should have won that one. The mono-red matchup was a little bit harder. I think we should have statistically been better with our draws than we were, but we could have done things differently. We could have not boarded in the One Ring, so we could have got it with the Karn. Although looking at the draws we got, maybe that wouldn't have mattered anyway. But I think that matchup should be, if it goes a certain number of turns, we're fine. They just didn't quite pan out that way. So with a few rolls of the dice a little bit differently, I think we could have even stretched to a 4-1 this league. I felt the deck was able to get there. The Cephalid Breakfast matchup looked horrible though. Alright, let's talk about the deck. So, first things first, let's talk about the new card. This card seems pretty cool. When we played it, it was decent, but the problem was getting to play it. And it does have this big 7 in the top right-hand corner, which does make it a little bit tricky to cast. But it was good when we cast it. We had people like scoop to it. It was doing powerful things. It could interact with a Blood Moon whilst being a 7-mana thing. So it's not unreasonable to use this to try and stop a Blood Moon post board when you've got like a bunch of mana and you're just playing lands out and you just go, okay, I've now got enough to Ugin. So I would like to try the Ugin more. In terms of the rest of the deck though, not having Sowing Mycospawn feels really bad for this deck. So just having this thing at 4 mana that kind of bridged the gap nicely, it found you like the land. So quite often we were assembling like Cloudpost and towers, or like Planar Nexus and Yavimayas and stuff, and we weren't quite able to get the right combination to get the right amount of mana. And that was definitely really annoying for us. And the Sowing Mycospawn would have just really helped. Honestly, if Sowing Mycospawn didn't have a kicker ability and just let you be a 4-mana 3/3 that shoots a land on cast, that would see play in this deck. That would be great for this deck, and we would run it 100%, and it would be exactly what we needed. But without the Mycospawn, it does feel a little bit awkward here. So another problem, I think, is it makes the Karn feel a little bit worse, because you don't have just these like ancillary bodies to stand in front of the Karn and keep it alive, so you can't do as much with the Karn as you could when you had the Mycospawn. Primeval Titan, 6 mana is the same as a kick Mycospawn. This does find you 2 lands, so it's pretty game-breaking, but the thing is about Mycospawn is 4 mana is a reasonable amount of mana to have in a 25 land deck at any point, right? And then that mana then gets you to the next bit of mana. But 6 mana is so much. Like, we're 1 away from casting like some of our big payoffs anyway. I just don't think Primeval Titan is where I want to be here. I would like to try a Cloudpost deck that is colorless, because you don't step on your toes as much when you're colorless, because you don't have to be playing like Yavimayas and like the forests and things like this, and even the Boseijus. You just have a bunch of colorless lands, so you can always play the lands that will give you the best amount of mana on the next turn. So, you know, there are like colorless decks that are doing that, like dual combo style decks and like Mystic Forge style decks. You have a mana base a bit more similar to that. You can still have some tech lands in, you know, like your Tabernacles or whatever, and you can play something like Golos. So Golos is only 5 mana instead of 6. It is colorless, so it means if you're under a Blood Moon, you can pay 5, get like a Waste or whatever it is you need, or whatever your sideboard color is that you're using to hate your opponent's permanent. So could be like you go and get your basic planes from your sideboard once you've gone to post board, and that like enables all your Perilous Snares and Portable Holes. That is an option. So there's definitely something to think about that. Obviously, losing green does come at a cost. You can still run things like Elvish Spirit Guide if you just want to sort of get over the hump and get some mana going. You can still run Once Upon a Time, because again, we're going to be a Planar Nexus deck whatever happens. This is mana of any color when you need it in a pinch. And that is something we can do. You can still run 1 Yavimaya just because it combos really well with an Eye of Ugin. But yeah, I would like to really try a colorless build. We also get to run some of the other Saga lands, I think. Sorry, the other Urza lands. So that, you know, if you have like an Urza's Power Plant and a Planar Nexus, that's 3 mana on turn 2, which is the same as like a Cloudpost and a Planar Nexus, which is obviously good enough for what we're trying to do anyway. So maybe we'll try something along those lines. I haven't quite worked out what that list looks like, but I think the fact that Ugin also works off of 3 Urza lands is kind of interesting, and will come up in the deck, I imagine. The Disruptor Flute, this seems very good. I think you just have to run this. And also, if you're running a colorless build, the Ugin gets better because you end up with more things you can play with it. Does that list end up running Kozilek's Command and Glaring Fleshraker? Quite possibly. I don't think Eldrazi as a deck is very good right now. I think that deck needed Sowing Mycospawn more in some ways, because the end game of Cloudpost is still like unbeatable and stuff, whereas Eldrazi, if it doesn't smash you down early enough right now, it's very hard to close the gap at the end. Whereas I think the way that Mycospawn leaving altered Cloudpost is very different to the way that it leaving altered Eldrazi. And hopefully we can sort of show that a bit more in coming weeks, because I'm going to be playing some more of both of these decks. So it's nice to see how decks adapt to bans and things. But yeah, this was quite a long league to record. But I hope you enjoyed it, and you hope you got a lot out of it, and you can sort of see that the pieces for this deck still work. It's going to need a little bit of finagling to make it work. Like True Futurism is somebody who plays a lot of Cloudpost. They're like the Cloudpost expert. So I'd be curious to see what they cook up when they take it to like a challenge or some 5-0 some leagues and stuff, and have a look. I think I saw a list of theirs that was running like going back to like the Dark Depths combo being part of what you're running as well. I'm not sure. But anyway, I would like to mess around in the Cloudpost space a bit more, and I think Colourless Cloudpost is looking a lot more viable now that we don't have Sowing Mycospawn, which is kind of was the reason to run green in my opinion, because that card was obviously incredibly good. Now crop rotation, very good, but you can mitigate the need for crop rotation by just having your lands work better instead of having the green mana. So that's my takeaway here. Obviously you're going to have some issues with your sideboarding because you're not going to have some like Force of Vigors and stuff, but I'm sure we can work through that one. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and goodbye. If you'd like to support me in the channel, please check out my Patreon. It has a free guide to budget turbo depths as well as 3 tiers of support. A low cost one that enters you into my monthly raffle for a free donation deck on the channel, a mid-tier subscription that gives you access to my detailed turbo depths guide that is updated every month as well as regular articles, and lastly the higher tier gives you all of the above as well as a monthly donation deck for my channel. If you're interested in supporting the channel this way, please check out the link in the description.